Hi, this is Dr. Natalie Marr, a psychologist with a private practice in Minnesota, but you also do some other things. Do you want to share some of the other things you do as a psychologist?
Yeah, for sure. So I am a licensed clinical psychologist. During COVID, I also added online courses and coaching to my business. And so Dr. Natalie's coaching courses and community was born out of Learn to Love Your Story. And you can find all that at learntoloveyourstory.com or follow me on any of my social medias. I focus primarily on helping women in midlife empower themselves to design the lives they want to be living in. So these are women that feel stuck, that feel like, a transition's happening, like empty nesting or divorcing or something, major changes in career. And they really just feel stuck, like they don't know how to do anything differently than what they've always done. So my courses, my groups online that are, free communities online, and the coaching packages that I do are all geared towards helping women in midlife to really break that cycle. So that's what I do.
And right now you actually have a year-long coaching group that is free to women. So shout out for that program. So we'll have a link for you in the comments after our discussion today. But today we're talking about my special project, the Color Affirmation Deck and my Color Affirmation Method. And Natalie and I met during the pandemic. I was doing the Global Art Cafe and developing this Color Affirmation Deck from the ground up. And then I said, she saw it and she's like, oh, this would be really neat in my practice. So I developed this certification program for practitioners. And she was one of the first people to go through the program and is now starting to use it with clients. And so I'm just really excited to share how it's getting used by licensed professionals. That's one of my goals as an artist, a creator, past graphic designer, putting all my skills into one bucket and really wanting to make a difference in the world with this Color Affirmation program. So I'm going to turn it over to Natalie. Tell us a little bit about how you've used it, what you got excited about doing it.
Well, I really enjoyed, I was part of your, initial certification group this summer, and I really enjoyed experiencing it as a person first, because it really does bring a different, spin on it. You're not just kind of certified and teaching something, but rather like you had a really, an experience through this. So I'm trying to create those experiences for the women that I work with. And what I have found is that it really does engage it's like a mindset shift. And I teach about growth mindset. I teach about, abundance mindset, manifesting what you want. And this really shifts out of our old reels in our head, because it's activating the right side of the brain, that creative part of your brain. And it's helping you to resource to, things that you know about yourself in a different way than in that stuck rut that you're in. So that's what I've really found has been helpful. And, one of my coaching clients shared yesterday that for her, it was really like it gave a container, the words, related to her life color, her life path color, the genre of things that, people who have that color usually are doing. All of that kind of gave her a different container to put herself in, to take the goals that she and I had been working on and kind of use that information to hone in to a different, more direct way of getting to those goals for herself.
Would you say that it empowered her?
Oh, for sure. I mean, everything that I do is an empowerment. So this is definitely a tool in the toolkit for empowerment.
Right.
I mean, it's the affirmations, but it's also the creativity, and it's thinking about yourself differently or from a different lens. And all of that in combination really is what makes it work.
So if you're let's talk to the licensed professionals out there, whether it's a psychologist, a therapist, whatever role they're playing, what would you say the main reason you would recommend them participating in this Color Affirmation Method, or just having a deck on hand to start learning how it's used? Why would they want to do that?
From a clinical perspective, and I have shared this with some of the clinicians that I work with here in Minnesota, from a clinical perspective, when we get stuck, we also are getting stuck in a circuitry in our brain. And so any task you can give them that shifts that opens up the possibility that they'll start to make connections that are more adaptive than maladaptive. I mean, you're assuming somebody's coming in for clinical health, mental health work. They have a diagnosis, and we need to help them shift out of that negative thinking into something else that serves them better. So I would say that this, much like the art therapy in general, is going to activate circuitry in the brain that is not normally entangled in things like depression, anxiety, stress. It will help you kind of transcend those and get to access parts of your brain that will help you know how to handle it.
Well, I love hearing that, because that's exactly was my goal.
Yeah.
Can you reflect back? You had a few people you've been using this actively with them. What would you say is one of the aha moments you could share, just in a general sense? Like, what do you think it really brought out for someone that moved them into a more successful place?
I think that the words that are associated with different core colors, life colors, it really like resonated with people. And the aha moment was, oh my gosh. So like, yeah, if you're violet, then I am strong. And they looked at the affirmations that you had, and in your manual, you give kind of all sorts of genre of words to kind of get the creative juices flowing. That really helped. That and surprised people. Like, some of them were like, yes, 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 that's me. And then one of them would be like, I never thought of myself in that way. And then that would facilitate going down that path.
Yeah, I find it's interesting is that people are a little resistant to engage in the deck, even just to play with it, right? Like, just for us, it's simply positive affirmations is really what it is. And taking a deeper level, if you choose to, looking at the colors, those attributes, those characteristics of each color, they really do have the power to empower you if you can think about it that way.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, right, like, I'll let you talk about this, is when you choose to believe something, whether it's negative or positive, that changes the direction of what's happening in your life. And so with the affirmation deck, you're choosing to be positive with your life. And whether or not it's 110% true that this characteristic is you because you are that life path color, you're choosing to believe that because you want to. And isn't that great? Choosing to be positive and picking these great characteristics. And recently taking it a step further into this wholeness wheel with all the colors, you can balance your life using this system based on color and wellness. And it's a beautiful thing to have something to kind of hold on to and guide you a little bit, because the colors give you some guidance. Because I think a lot of, I don't know, people, you feel a little lost, and it's like, there's a lot of different ways.
Right.
Whatever path you're on.
The world has all sorts of options. And so this narrows that focus. Yeah. But at the same time opens up doors. It's really neat the way that creative work can do that. So, it hones you in a certain genre of affirmations or, words that describe you as a person. However, that then opens up all sorts of connections you've never made about yourself that don't cross-wire with these old patterns of thinking that aren't working for you. They open up new patterns of thinking. And what you're talking about really is, you can think negative, you can think positive, and life starts to manifest in that direction. The reason for that is cognitive bias. That is a function of the brain to be efficient. It only will do what we tell it to do. And then it kind of weeds out anything else we're not telling it to do. It's how you drive home from work and for 20 minutes have no idea. Like, I don't remember any of that because I was doing the shopping list in my head. I gave my brain a task and it did the task. It didn't watch for other things. So once you start to pull yourself towards something else, that's really great. But what's really awesome about the deck is it's pulling you towards color and affirmations that you're not connecting generally to your depressed thoughts. So if you can stay over here with this new line of thinking, it doesn't bump up against your old path of thinking, and it gives you this opportunity to really follow that new cognitive bias.
Perfect. Well, we won't want to keep everybody here all day, but we'll just let's wrap up and talk about how if I draw a card, and then I'll let you talk about it, because this is what happens. I don't know if you've done this with your sessions, is just draw a card and then see what bubbles up for that person. And today it's going to be you. And what does it say for you? And this is one of the ways that you can use the deck. And like you said, is it's like not a normal pattern for you. And so you never know what it's going to bring up. The stories, right?
Yeah.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Here we go. Can you see it?
I am spontaneous.
I'll read it. It says, my life is full of incredible experiences.
You know, I love this card right now in
It's
my life
yellow
because I've stopped working. Like 75% of my private practice, I closed down at the end of 2022 in order to open up more time and energy towards coaching and Dr. Natalie's coaching courses and community, all that stuff that I've put together. So I do feel very spontaneous. Like I don't have like this is what I do during the day kind of routine. And I'm kind of popcorning around with some things and finding a new routine for myself, but I definitely am feeling pretty spontaneous, which keeps you in your creative flow, which is good. Good.
Isn't yellow your life path color?
Yellow isn't one of mine. No. I'm violet.
That's right. You're violet. And how have you incorporated that into more of a daily affirmation reminder for yourself? Since
violet, the color violet.
Yes.
I have more stones of amethyst now than I ever have in my life. I just started to like pick them up and then I pepper them around my house. I actually have one on my desk right behind me. Yeah, I like the color purple. I've never had anything against the color purple. So now that I know that it's my color, I pay attention when I see it. Like I lock in more when I'm seeing it, and try to see some of those synchronicities if they're showing up. Like, purple is showing up with people right now. So maybe that means something about what I need to be doing next or what I need to be looking to.
Would you say it helps with awareness? Like it raises your awareness in a way you wouldn't have otherwise? And also, along with that, sometimes permission. Like some people, I find this really interesting when someone comes and they say, I think I'm going to be blue, just a really calm color. And then their life path color is red. And guess what? They are immediately empowered. It's like a switch goes on. I am not even kidding.
Yeah.
Right? Have you had that happen?
Totally.
It's crazy, isn't it?
It is crazy. Well, and what's more crazy is like so many of the things that are in the affirmation deck point to them, even though, and are associated with that new red or whatever. They didn't know that about, like, they are like, yes, this is me. Yes, this is me. Yes, this is me. But they don't think about those things because when they're in their blue rut, they're in their blue rut,
Right? Like, not to pick on blues, because blue is a great color.
No, blues are great.
You know what the example, but it's true. Like, it is a real thing. And I love that moment when those people, all of a sudden, it's like they're given permission to be themselves.
Yes, that's right. And I do think it keeps you more awake and aware in your life. And self-awareness is the key to any kind of healing, any kind of change in your life. You want to stay the same? Don't be aware. Just be asleep at the wheel and do the same thing over and over. But if you're looking to change, you're going to need something like a color that you're paying attention to wake you up in situations where normally you wouldn't. Like, I'll see it when I'm at Target. I'll see it when I'm driving. And now I notice. And you're right. It absolutely pulls me into the conscious awareness of the present moment.
That's beautiful. Well, I appreciate you coming to share the practitioner's perspective and some of the things that have been happening in your practice with your patients, clients, in your work, because it's very exciting for me to hear the success of this and that it is working the way that I intended to do. There's nothing magic about it. it's psychology, really. I love psychology. I love art. And this was my way to fuse those two things. It's not
beautiful deck.
Yeah, it's simply affirmations, people. And let's just talk quick. I'll let you talk quick about what is the difference between saying I am and another kind of statement in terms of affirming yourself. There's a lot more power in it, correct? And why is that?
Right. Because it like I am is an action statement of I have the agency, I am doing the thing, instead of a thing is being done to me, or I'm hoping for or working towards a thing. You're really just affirming that you are the agent of change in your life when you start with an I am statement. And that sometimes is the challenging part when we're doing those affirmations, putting them together. They can come up with the words, but they don't like to start with I am because their old conditioning, their old way of thinking would tell them, I work towards, I want that.
I'll try to make
you are that. That's what you're going to say.
Yeah, well, this has been really great. Maybe we'll have another chat one of these days soon. I have my decks on sale right now. This was the first deck here, and with 72 cards, and I've adapted a little bit, actually updated a few of the affirmations from the first deck. Ooh. And the last one was 36 cards, but I thought, you know what, people really want affirmations. So I put them all back in, and I changed a few that I thought, let's make it a little juicier, better. And so there may be 3 or 4 cards that will be a surprise change. You won't even probably know. There'll be 45 affirmation cards and just 1 color card for each of the life path colors, along with cards that have the instructions. And of course, you'll be able to download the full 35-page guidebook from a QR code. So a lot of value, and really giving people the affirmations, the color, and the artwork on every card that I created, like you see behind me, all in the deck. Yeah. And so I hope you'll go and get one. I'm trying to reach a goal of 15 sold by the end of today. That's my ask for today. And I just want to thank Dr. Natalie for being a part of
thank you for having
this journey.
me.
Yeah, I really appreciate you.
Thank you.
So everyone, have a great day. Feel affirmed. Let's draw a card for everybody. We had I'm spontaneous. How about I am inspired? I live with intention, following my purpose. What a perfect card. So everybody,
that is a good card.
Have an inspired day.
Okay.